Hello guys and welcome back. Now last week I had the worst week. I had a viral infection, my girlfriend had a viral infection, and our 5 kids had either a viral infection or chickenpox. So I haven't fished in over a week, and it's finally time for me to get back out on the bank. Now, my first session I did actually try yesterday, my first session back. I decided to go somewhere new, targeting big perch, where I've never caught big perch before, on a different stretch of river, and it didn't go to plan. I blanked on the perch front, didn't get a single bite from a perch, and all I managed was a couple of jack pike, which was great sport, but it's not the intention of this video. So I decided, even though I'm basically recycling content at this point, I've come down to the local river to target big perch. I've had 2 sessions so far during the winter time, autumn time, and I've had some fantastic fish out, so why not come out and do it again? I've been ill for a week, I just need to get out there and get a few fish to the bank. So without further ado, I'm going to get cracked on. I've got creature baits, I've got Ned rigs. I don't know how hard it's going to be. The river's finally not in flood, and it's actually a really nice level. So I've got a really good feeling we're going to get some fish today. Let's go. Now, as you can probably tell, I'm actually using the BFS setup this session, and this is that budget one I was using a few weeks ago targeting chub. I actually just find it really smooth and simple to use when it comes to perch fishing, especially when it's close quarter and you're flicking under the trees all the time. Just saves you having to keep opening the bail arm to cast out. And on this I'm using obviously small creature baits, Ned rigs. I've got a little Ned rig on now, and what I'm doing is essentially just dragging this bait along the bottom. And throughout this entire session I'm going to be using weedless rig baits, and that's because we've obviously had some flooding. There's going to be lots of debris in the water. We don't want to be getting snagged up all the time, and that's where we're going to be casting underneath those overhanging branches, and we're just going to drag the bait along the bottom. 3 to 5 gram chub weights, just enough to be able to hold the bottom in the slack waters. Very slow in this cold water, just very tiny taps on the rod tip and very slow movements, and that's hopefully how we're going to get these fish. Bang, to absolutely nail it today. Yep, fish on. That feels like a good sized perch. Right up against the reeds on the opposite bank. There's a nice sized fish. Wonder if there's any more over there. Wonder if there's a deep hole or anything. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Come on. That is absolutely fin perfect. Look at that for a perch. Absolutely stunning. Creature bait right on the roof of his mouth. Couldn't get better than that. I actually let my line go slack as I let the bait sink down. When I tightened up, the fish had already picked it up. At least it looked that way. Oh, see if there's any more over there. Well guys, can you blame me for fishing my local waterways all the time when this is the quality of fish I can catch? This swim is actually really close to home. I'm literally about 10 minutes walk from my house, and this is a stunning perch, probably about 39 centimetre, maybe a little bit less, and probably about 1.5 pounds, and that is absolutely stunning. That is the perfect example of a perch, isn't it? Absolutely fin perfect. Look at it standing proud. It's beautiful vivid stripes, the bright red fins. It doesn't get much better than that. Taking on the creature bait, tucked up against the opposite bank, right in a little tight little slack water. That's what you got to aim for this time of year. Even if it's, 2 foot of slack water, drop it into it, because these fish will be sat in there waiting. Let's get him back. I was travelling really light this session, Just my rod, my reel, a small backpack with only 2 or 3 different lures in there, and a small net. That way I could bite quickly between swims and optimise the time that I had fishing. There's no point in fishing every single swim you get to in conditions like this. Just hit all the best ones that you think have got the best chance of giving you a fish in this freezing cold weather. This is a prime example of what I was saying earlier about having to move these baits so slowly for these freezing cold fish. I'd spotted a fish right down in the margin, a decent sized looking perch, and I was dropping this little jig down in front of it and it was not moving, and I just continued to gently tap that rod tip, not even moving the bait from place, just making it twitch on the bottom in the same spot over and over and over, and slowly but surely I watched that fish creep up to the bait. Yep, good sized perch. Don't know if he's hooked very good. God, a proper chunky one, that one. They're not massive in size, but it's just got a big old belly on it. That one's been eating up minnows. Wish I'd set the big camera up here because I knew there was a chance of getting a fish, hence why I was being so finesse. Oh yeah. That is what we're after. That is what we're after. That's got to be £2. Look at the size of that. Absolute unit of a perch from the river. Absolute beast. Little creature bait just on the side of the mouth. I was very, very slowly finessing that bait down on the bottom. And that butterball went down and picked it up as happy as anything. Should have probably extended my net, would have made it easier to land it. That's got to be £2. Well guys, I have just caught an absolute tank in these cold winter conditions. Look at that, £2 9 ounce, just over £2.5. And for this river, that is an absolute fantastic perch. I think nowadays not many people consider £2 perch to be big fish, but that's what I grew up knowing. As a young angler, those £2 perch were the crown jewel of fishing, and if you caught one of them in your session, absolutely made it. Look at that, absolutely pristine as well. Took me a little while to tempt him to take it. Right, let's give him a good rest and put him back. You know, there's something that I find quite surreal, and that is, it's a beautiful day today. It's a winter's day, but it's really mild. It's perfect fishing conditions. The fish are biting like mad. I've been fishing for a couple hours now and I've not seen a single person on the bank. I think maybe I've seen one dog walker. Nobody fishing. I'm just retying now and it's just sort of sinking in. It's just dead silent. I can see 300 yards that way up the river and there's not a single person in sight. Wish it was like this every time. I don't know if you guys were around to see that very well. I got the blood going, then pike took it. Almost came flying out the water to take that bait. There we go. The drag should be just about perfect now to deal with this pike. Without him breaking me off. Look at that, absolutely perfect now. Ah. Oh no, my net's stuck. My net's stuck. Come on. We can do it. The net's a little bit stuck. It's a decent sized pike for the BFS. He was so aggressive. The first time he came for it was right when I was taking my bait out of the water. He swiped it right as I was pulling it out of the water. Yes. Just covered in leeches, which shows they've been sat on the bottom for a while. This one obviously decided to make a decision to come off the bottom. Absolutely nailed me creature bait and put up one hell of a fight. My God. Now that's how aggressive I want my pike when I'm out actually targeting pike. Would you look at that? Absolutely pristine quality, beautiful looking pike, probably around about £4. Put up a hell of a scrap on that light BFS gear, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I think my arm might have been in the way, but he basically came flying up to the surface and tried to take that creature bait as it came out of the water the first time, missed it, cast straight back out there, and he nailed it within seconds. That is absolutely incredible spot. Thankfully I managed to land it. Obviously I'm after the big perch today, but when you get a quality looking pike like that during the perch session, you can't complain, can you? When they put up a scrap like that, oh, fantastic. Let's get him back. I was really enjoying myself, but it seemed like the pike was starting to steal the show. Almost every swim I was getting to now, I was finding some sort of pike activity, whether it's a fish going for the bait or in fact getting hooked and landed. They seemed to be everywhere. It was time for me to try and find one, maybe two more big perch to end this session. There we go, that's a good sized perch. I saw there was a shopping trolley down there. Oh, he's come wrapped around it. I saw there was a shopping trolley down there and I thought that looks like the perfect structure for a big perch to hide behind. And hey presto, I was right. That's another stonking perch for a local river anyway. Let's extend my net. Why am I using it distended? I'm gonna just extend it, look. Absolutely crushed it, and that is a lovely fish. If I can get him in. I didn't think he was going to go in the net then. God, that's a really nice one actually. Leeches all over its spines on its back. It shows how lethargic it is and how cold the water is when they've got leeches down the back. There's a creature bait. Look at the size of its mouth. That is a really nice fish. I'm trying not to touch the fish with my glove hand, because obviously we don't want to risk rubbing the slime off. But look at that big old bucket mouth. That hook really well positioned in there. So Gamakatsu something or other. I really like Gamakatsu hooks. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but I've just always used them since I started my fishing and they've always been super sharp. Now I know some of you guys prefer taking measurements over weights, and this fish is definitely not to its full potential in weight. It's got a good old length to it. See if I was right. 41.5. I said 42. That weren't bad, was it? Now, up to this point, my session was going fantastic. There was absolutely no reason for me to carry on fishing, but I can't possibly go fishing on the local river for perch and pike and not hit the ever famous poo pipe swim. And that's where I was going to end it today. Oh, yes! Fish on from right inside the drain pipe. It must have literally came out to take that. It's It's not the perch I'm after, but it's a jack pike. Hit the poo pipe. Wonder if there was actually any perch down there. Get in. Whoa. Yeah, just moved over to a Ned rig, and boom, that is a pike in the net. These guys are so aggressive today. Only a £6 wire. Ouch, but obviously it's enough to stop the pike from biting through it. Oh, not the biggest pike in the world, but came right from out of the poo pipe. It must have literally come out of it. You have to check the drone footage and see exactly what it looks like. But that's where my jig was, and this fish absolutely nailed it. So let him go. He'll be off like a rocket. When them little jacks go, they absolutely go. Apart from that one who's gone off nice and slowly. Guys, what a contrast to 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, this river was in flood. It was flowing into the fields and everything was frozen solid. And I was out there on the little streams just trying to buy a bite on maggots. Fast forward to 2 weeks later, the fishing absolutely phenomenal. It's still freezing cold, but they are biting. They was almost jumping on the hook today. The TRD bug is what absolutely nailed it for me today. That's what I caught most of my fish on. All the biggest perch are on that. I'll leave a link to that down in the description below. My friend Sean sells those, so make sure you're only buying from him and nobody else. But what a fantastic session it's been. Even though it's on the local river, and I've done this a million times before, targeting big perch on the local river, I still hope you've enjoyed it and been able to take something away. Thank you guys for watching, subscribe if you want to, and I'll catch you guys later.